We're going to start off with our approach. We're going to just land like a butterfly, make our initial contact. Very slowly, as full contact comes into the palm, we're going to just start with little circles. Hopefully I'm speaking loud enough to be heard. I do have a spa voice, so... And as we come through and just kind of make little circles through, just getting that stuff relaxed. And everybody's going to have different things that they prefer. So some of your clients are going to prefer like a deeper touch, like that. And they're going to be like, "Arr." And some of them are just going to really like a light touch that's just soothing and reassuring. And you just got to kind of watch their reactions to figure out, you know, what's really knocking them and zonking them out and what's waking them back up. And as I mentioned before, there are all kinds of acupressure points along this area and throughout the rest of the scalp. Sometimes you may feel like you are drawn to a particular area for no reason. That may be because it's an acupressure point that is asking for attention. So don't ignore it when you feel like you're called somewhere, because it could be important. And nice general relaxation. I'm going to come down here and do a little bit of lymphatic stimulation through the collarbone. Just kind of open that up. When you're doing the lymphatic stimulation, you really only need to kind of hook into the skin, pull it, let it stretch, and then let it go. Doing this is going to give it a bump, and your lymphatic system normally beats at 10 to 12 beats per minute. Doing this kind of stimulation through here is going to increase that tenfold. So that's going to come up to 100 to 120 beats per minute. After I've stimulated in that area, I'm going to crawl back up in here, and I'm doing things in a different order on her than I did on you. But again, as I said, you could do it in any order. And we're getting up in the occipitals, just kind of letting them melt over the fingertips. The slower you kind of melt into them, the less chance that you're going to startle the nervous system or hurt them. I've actually been able to get like really intense pressure on people with super tender occipitals by just creeping in like a ninja. So the slower you go in, the more receptive the body is going to be, and the more it's going to invite you in. And right through here, we're just doing little micro frictions. How's that feeling?
It's very nice.
And you just listen, and as you kind of like nudge the head, see, I'm just like very gently moving it. If her neck was stiffer, she would just be solid and she wouldn't move when I did that. So then I would have to get back up in the occipitals and release them. But you know when you've released stuff, because the head will just flow and move position really easily. Over here we've got a little bit of a restriction, so I'm doing a pin and roll basically, like how I had my middle finger right up in that little nook for you, and see that just released a bit. And you get in there and you just like allow it to sit on your fingertip, and I'm not even like pushing up into it, I'm just letting its own weight like melt over my finger. And then as it's doing that, when I change the position of the head, it changes the angle that we're pushing on the muscle at. And as I come back and roll, I'm going to do that same thing where I release the pressure on the middle finger and then put the pressure into the first finger and slide everything to the side. And then as I come back through, I catch it from the back and roll it back this way again. So what it looks like on this side would be right in here, and mostly the middle finger making contact. Let it roll up onto the middle finger. Let it breathe and melt over. Maybe even change the angle a little bit. Find where the most tension is and just let it sit right where the most tension is. Couple of nice breaths, maybe small micro movements just to kind of test its boundaries and see where it's at. And then as I come back through here, I'm going to release the pressure on the middle and focus more into it from this angle. Do a little bit of circular friction, and then as I come back this way, we'll engage the middle finger again into that tension point and just kind of rock it back and forth, wiggle it a little bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now that I've got that loosened up a bit, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my face oil. How is that neck feeling so far?
Feels good.
I'm going to put 2 drops of this face oil into half a squirt of oil on there. I'm going to cover my entire hand. Now we're going to take a nice deep breath. And are you okay with me putting a little of this on your face?
Yes.
Wonderful. So I'm going to come in. We're going to slide down the forehead onto the face. The first few times you do this, it's going to feel real awkward, but you will get used to it. Right now, I'm just kind of applying the oil, gliding, making sure that wherever I'm going to make contact has a little bit of oil on it so that I don't get caught up. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to start with my little loosening between the eyebrows, doing those little circles up and down. You can come across, spread, kind of get that lymphatic fluid kind of angled down towards getting rid of it. Those little eyebrow pinchies that you can do. They feel so weird, but they're like, they feel cool. And it's like, I remember the first time somebody did it to me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's bizarre, but I like it. And so you can just kind of pull that tension out of from around the eyelids. And we can do some circular motion around the eyes. You can even get up and do like a figure 8 around the eyes. Bring in some relaxation. Come down through the sides. Get into masseter. You can come through and do some zygomatic kind of circular friction on around the zygomatic. Come back up, pull out towards from around the nose. You get a lot of sinus points through here that you can like hit in on while you're going through the massage. You can get the sinus points, right? Coming down through masseter, so we're going to ask you to open your jaw very slow and then close it. And we're going to open one more time and close. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do a little bit of stuff right up here because I feel like there's a little bit of a misalignment through this jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Like this side is maybe much tighter and things are kind of being pulled in this direction. So what I want to do is I want to loosen this side and I want to support this side. So I'm going to roll you over here and I'm going to say, okay, if you could open your jaw. Right, now I'm going to just leave that open for a couple of breaths. Feel that? Do you feel that?
Uh-huh.
That is the little guy that is pulling your jaw out of alignment right now. So another thing that I can do if I don't want to get too intense into your jaw, I can also bring this little guy in here and get into that as well. And that can help to loosen it really quick. Getting all up in. How's that feeling?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's where it needs to be, right there. Yeah. And so, like, just having that vibration flow through the attachment and the belly of that muscle is helping it to learn to let go. And I'm actually feeling activity over here on the other side of my fingertips. As this side's letting go, it's causing stuff over here to move around a bit too. So I'm going to check in with this little guy over here now. Where'd he go? No way, dude. Where'd it go?
Do you want me to open my mouth again?
Oh, yeah, open up again. Where'd he go?
It's tender there, but it's not the ropey that it was.
Yeah, it's not plucking like a stand-up bass string anymore. So now I'm going to come back through here. I'm going to come over and I'm going to see where else we have a pull, because it's almost even now, but there's still something pulling a little bit over here. I feel like it might be a bit in temporalis. Do you have tenderness up here?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to see if we can get this released. And when you see them swallow, a lot of times that means that something just released. And we're going to come down the jaw through here. It's nice when people in the class have jaw problems, because it's a lot harder to show how to fix a jaw problem when there's no jaw problem. So thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate your injuries. This is already feeling like a completely different terrain. Just with that little bit of attention, it has shifted. And I'm going to give just a little bit of a stretch this way. Oh, you're flexible. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of a tug here. If it's ever too much, let me know.
It's right on the edge.
Breath. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to check in, and if you want to come over to this angle, we should have gotten a before shot, but if you look straight down her face, It is much more even now than it was a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could tell from any of the angles that you got before how the jaw was kind of shutting off to this or jutting off to the side. But her jaw was like here a second ago and now it's here.
Okay.
So like that definitely loosened things up and made it like more symmetrical as far as where, because the middle of your chin was hit, or like the middle of your nose was hitting here before, and now it's hitting here in the middle of your chin instead of over here because it's not being drawn this way as much. So, woohoo! Huzzah! So, I really like getting now as I'm going through masseter here, like I can tell a huge difference in how the tissue is reacting. Can you tell a big difference how it feels? Or
Yes.
so, and I like getting in here, getting your platysma. There's also a nice stretch that you can do where you very carefully and consciously, first you're going to ask your client if it's okay if you do it. May I place my hand on your sternum? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to place my hand on the sternum. I'm going to lean into it just with a nice good contact and lean in. Then I'm going to take my hand here and just very gently do a little bit of a myofascial pull between the two of them. There's not a whole lot of pressure behind it. And I'm just going to hold it for a couple of breaths. And then very gently let her go and come back. Did that get a good stretch? So it gets all through here and up in the neck and chin. So, and see, just from doing that, it's so much more, oh my gosh, do you see that? That a minute ago, that was still pretty solid.
Okay.
And so like the more you stretch and open this area and get that myofascial stretch through like platysma and all of that stuff, the more it's all just gonna let go. And it goes in both directions, like all throughout the whole body, because this area holding tension really just, it affects everything. So I like also doing the little shoulder push sometimes. Come through, come up under, getting into the, right here I am at T1, C7, and I'm just kind of doing a little bit of rocking back and forth because it feels like there's a little bit of congestion through there. It's not wanting to flow real smooth. So since I was slowed down, I'm just going to do a little bit of activity. Now I'm up around C5 and everything, or C3 to 5, and everything seems pretty open and flexible. So now I'm sliding up into the occipitals. This attachment site on the left still feels like it hasn't let go yet. This would be the erectors and trap attachment up here. So I'm just allowing, I'm pressed into it and just rotating the head and then coming back through. And then I'm just gonna see if I can wiggle my way up a few more layers into there. And those little tiny micro movements. Right now I'm going to be real still for a minute. And I'm just going to see with this stillness where her neck is going to want to lead me. But I also just remembered I don't want to get everything out of there because I want to leave some for you. So there is still this here, so maybe I'll leave that to see if you can find it and see if you can try to get rid of it the same way, you know?
Yeah.
And then...
Can you do some of the SEM stuff?
Yeah. Okay, so for SCM, remember we're going to grip around so that we're not covering the ear at all.
Mhm.
Gonna rotate down here. Now it starts back right around through this area and comes down into underneath the clavicle. She's got, yours is not popping out very much. Yours is like very like in there. When we were working on you, yours more popped out.
Well, yeah, because I
Mine,
have a
when I
cyst
turn-
here and
well,
it pulls it up.
And when I turn my head, mine pops out really bad because it's tight. Yours, I guess, is maybe either not that tight or it's like severely entrenched. I'm not sure
I
which.
think it's entrenched because it is tight.
Okay. So
I'm
sometimes,
like, do you not have stress? You're so
sometimes,
lucky.
like, yeah, sometimes it doesn't pop out because it's not angry, and sometimes it doesn't pop out because the fascia is strangling
So
it
tight,
and
yeah.
holding it so tight that it can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then what we've got to do is sculpt and separate and excavate, right? So we can get in here and we can feel around and see wherever we can feel like tightness, right? And I can feel like in through here, you can get into feeling the scalenes and stuff. You don't want to be putting deep pressure in here because it can be like literally nauseating to do that. But you can palpate very consciously and gently. So I'm gonna like just kind of drag my fingers through here, and I'm actually finding more of the tension right here than up here. So this is SC, like this is where the SCM is gonna run. But I feel like her scalenes are more where we're running into the tightness, and that is like, and maybe like SCM is globbed in with the scalenes. So I've got a hold of SCM right through there. So, and honestly, SCM really does not feel that tight. I think it's your scalenes, because that does not, that's like Play-Doh, right? Can you feel that it doesn't feel tight? Like, but when you get over into here, these guys right here are like an impenetrable wall. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my nifty 128, and I'm gonna put it right over here near where those attachment sites are.
Do you put it on the bone or next to it?
Yeah.
On the bone?
You can do both. You can put it on the bone or next to it. There are a lot of different ways to use these. One of the cool things about this is if you put it on a broken bone, it hurts. That's how I got my hairline fracture in my ankle diagnosed. Was the doctor put that, I was like, and he's like, oh yeah, it's broken.
Oh wow.
Because this will vibrate the bone, and if there's a fracture or a crack in the bone, it will like let you know. So now a few times, just a few rounds of that, and I'm going to feel into here. I do feel a little bit of a change. It's still pretty tight, but I feel like the fascia has released from that, because what I could feel through the layers before, the layers above it were tight, and now it's just like, now we've gotten to the muscle. So I'm also gonna put a bit of vibration up here to get that released. Now, if we don't have the vibration tools to use, you can use your fingers, and you can just
we have them at the studio,
away.
so yeah. I actually intuitively used one the other day, which was weird. I'm like, I feel like I should do this.
So one of the fun things that I like doing with these is you can actually put them on, let me see if I can. All right, so I'm going to put it on this point right here. And I'm going to put my hand around it, and I can actually feel right here there's no vibration. Everywhere else there's vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I'm going to put it next. And then I'm going to feel around here. This is the next point that's calling to me right here. So when it stops vibrating here, I'm going to go to right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically kind of just follow the trail through until whatever it is cleared, and until I can feel all of the tissue around the fork vibrating at the same frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's no little dead spots. And whenever there is either an area that is vibrating higher or lower, you just take the fork and you put it on that area, and it brings it into balance. It either brings it up or it brings it down. So it's pretty neat. Now I'm going to show you the contrast therapy. So we're going to do the low vibration. How's that feel? Isn't that so grounding?
Mm-hmm.
It's like just and then we're going to switch to the higher frequency. And see how that's kind of like hot and cold almost?
Mm-hmm.
Which one feels hot and which one feels cold? Like to your perception.
Well, I feel like the one you're doing now vibrated higher into my neck and head. This feels more towards the heart. Yes.
Yeah. This one's more towards root chakra, and this one's more towards crown. And it really helps to loosen stuff up. The vibration talks to the nervous system, and then it also goes through the water of the body and just loosens everything up. Ooh, there's something stuck there. Did you see how that, like, well, you probably didn't
No.
see it. And I felt it too. When I put it on this point, it's doing extra wiggles. Oh, there it goes. Alrighty. This is just to kind of loosen things up real gently. We're going to check out up in the occipitals again. See how that's doing. That one little guy is still mad.
$29.
Alright.
Ding.
My internal clock was like, it's been about 30
You're so
minutes,
good.
man.
I don't have that yet. I still use a timer.
Alright, so now I'm going to check into through here. Does that feel different to you?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely feels like several layers are gone. Like there's still some work for you to do in there, but it definitely feels like it loosened up. What do you think helped